Thank you for joining. Sorry about the technical difficulty. Just as we were about to go live, our internet went out. So we had to wait to get everything all situated. So sorry about that. And I really appreciate you all for your patience and waiting along with us and also just sticking around. So we'll just get started. I hope everyone has had a good weekend so far and you're enjoying your week so far. And we look forward to hanging out with you. And thank you again for being patient and just waiting for us to get all the technical issues resolved. All right, so I'm going to start with our second grader. So every question I have today was actually based on topics sent to me. So because of that, I won't be able to do the fractions I like to do all the time. So we have so many things set up for today. We have topics from second all the way through 7th grade. So if you sent us a list of topics, your topics will be addressed in today's session. Thank you and God bless. Let's get started. Okay, so this is for 2nd and 3rd grade students. And so we have 74 and 38 are two-digit numbers. Round each of them to the nearest 10 and then add the new numbers together. So we're going to first round each of these numbers to the nearest 10. I have a request from one of the viewers to actually take some time to actually explain this to her student. So I'm going to go ahead and try to be as cautious as possible in the approach that I take with these questions today. So please bear with us. If it's something that you're already familiar with, please bear with us. We're just trying to make sure that we can accommodate the needs of every other person. All right, so let's see. 110, okay, thank you, Dio, Jaden, great. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with this, and we will try to accommodate the 2nd and 3rd graders here. So we have two numbers. We have 74 and 38. They are two-digit numbers. And we want to round each of them to the nearest 10 before we add them up. Okay, so we're going to start with 74. Let's write 74 right down here. And we're looking for the tens position. So what we're going to do is focus on this is ones here, this is tens. So we're looking for this digit right here. Now, when we want to round to the nearest 10, we're always going to look at the digit to the right of the digit that we desire. So the 7 right here. And I like to think of it this way. If we're trying to go up a slope and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So any number that is below is at the bottom of the slope on the left hand side. When you get to that number, you cannot increase the number in the tens position. So what does that mean? It means that if there's a number from, let's put a 0 here actually, from 0 to 4, that means that if the number to the right is from 0 to 4, the number on the left cannot increase, it stays the same. So in this case, we see that we have a number that is 4. So that means that the number in the tens position will not change. It will stay the same. And then we're going to replace the number in the ones position with a 0. Okay, let's try the second one. We have 38. We're looking for the tens position. This is ones, this is tens. So we're looking for this specific number right here, 3. Let's look to the right of 3. We have 8. Where does 8 fall? 8 is on the other side of the hill. Because it's from this side upward, it means that the number in the tens position is going to increase by 1 unit. So we're going to add 1 to that number. So that means that we're going to have 0 in the ones place. And this 3 here, because 8 is to the right, we're going to add 1 to 3 and make it 4. So now we have 70 here and we have 40 here. Now we're saying that once we get these new numbers, we're going to add them together. So we now have 70 plus 40. 0 plus 0, we have 0. 7 plus 4, we have 11. So now our answer is going to be 110. All right, so this is how you would approach questions like this. We're dealing with 2-digit numbers now, but you can apply that to any number of digits that you're working with. The only difference is that when you have more digits, you have more zeros to the right of the number that you're dealing with. And so are there any questions? Does this make sense to anyone? Do you have any concerns or any other things that you would like for us to kind of address relating to this topic? So I'll give you a few moments, and then if you have no questions about this, then we'll go over to the next topic for, I believe it's for 3rd and 4th graders. Okay, let's go ahead. So this also is a question, something similar to what was sent to us. And we have mixed operations word problems here. We have Marianne bought 8 boxes of pineapples. Each box has 6 pineapples. She finds out that there are a total of 5 rotten pineapples. How many pineapples are good to eat? So Marianne has 8 boxes of pineapples. Each box has 6 pineapples. She finds out that of all the pineapples that she bought, there were 5 rotten pineapples. How many pineapples there are good for her to eat, or good to eat? All right, Jaden, Dio, Simi, good job, thank you. So we're going to look at, since we have some answers here. All right, great. So we're going to look at some example. We're going to look at how we're going to approach this. Let's go ahead and look at our 8 boxes of pineapples. I'm going to try to draw 8 boxes just so you can see the concept for those that are in 3rd grade and maybe 4th grade. Okay, so we have 8 boxes here. I'm just going to write a number 6 inside of each one of them. So you have 6, 6. You have 6 in each of these boxes. So the question you want to ask yourself is, first of all, how many pineapples did you get altogether? And to do that, you're going to add 6 8 times, which is, you can add 6 8 times. 6, 6. Let's see, how many do we have? 4. So we have 6 8 times, or you can just multiply 6 by 8. And I believe in 3rd grade, you should start getting familiar with your multiplication table. So that means here that you have 48 pineapples altogether. So in this case, you have 48 pineapples altogether. Now, you are told that there are 5 rotten pineapples. So those are 5 that you cannot eat. So what you're going to do with that is you're going to remove them from the boxes because you can't eat them, and you'll subtract. 8 minus 5, we have 3. I like to put a 0 here, so we have 2. The same number of digits on both rows, and 4 minus 0, we have 4. So therefore, we have 43 good pineapples. So we have 43 good pineapples. Questions? Does everyone feel okay with this approach? Good, Aaron. Aaron, great job. All right, so it looks like we're good with this topic. And then let's go over to our 5th graders. So here we have XY coordinate plane. And so you have your X, which is your horizontal axis, and then your Y is your vertical axis here. And we're trying to find out the ordered pairs. And we have a bunch of letters here. We want to find out what letters satisfy this point. Just for you to get started, I want you to realize that a point is a place where 2 lines meet. So this is going to be a point where these 2 lines meet. And at that point, you always focus on, your points are going to be written as your X value and then your Y value. So what I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to show you one example, and I'll give you a chance to try the other ones. So here I have 1, 3. What that means here is I have my x value is going to be 1 and my y value is 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to draw a line all the way up and then draw a line from 3 all the way across. So you see where they meet is going to be the point 1, 3. So this is going to be A. So this is what you will do for every single point here. And I gave you, I have a few here because I want you to try them as much as you can. And the trick with this topic is that the more you practice it, the better you're going to become at it. This is, I believe this is in 5th grade. And as you get introduced to it in the 5th grade, you're going to see that you're going to need this all the way until most likely you stop doing math. So I want you to make sure that you understand this topic very well. So we have 1, 3. The second one is -4, 0. Let's see, do we have some answers? Do you guys want me to show you what to do, or do you feel like you know what to do already and I should just wait for your answers? Okay, number 2. All right, I see some answers coming through. Thank you for those that are participating. It always makes it more enjoyable when we can get some interaction. Okay, I'll go ahead and I'll walk you all through these 10 points. So the second one is -4, 0. When you're learning, one of the things I want you to do is to write x, y above or below, whichever way you prefer it. And so we have, I want you to also notice here that this is going to be 0. So every point along the line is 0 when you go from left to right and when you go from top to bottom. So now we have -4, 0. So here is we have a -4, but it's at 0. So it's going to be right on the line. Sorry about that. It's going to be right on the line. So -4, 0 is going to be U. We have -1 and 1. So we're going to start from -1. So like I said, put x here and then y right here. We have -1 right here, which is this point, and then we're going to draw it all the way to 1. Remember that. Let me show you a few things here. When you're going up, you're going to have positive. When you go down, you're going to have negative. When you go to the left, you have negative. And when you go to the right, you have positive. So that's important to also remember. So -1 and 1. So you can see that if I draw a line across from 1 and a line up from -1, we meet at the point R. So that's going to be our -1, 1. The next one is, I'm going to try probably up to the 6th one, and I'm going to give you a chance to try 4. Number 4, we have 4 and -2. So I have x is 4 is positive, y is negative. So that means that I'm going to start from 4 and I'm going to go down to the negative. So 4, and then I'm going down all the way here. And then -2, I'm going to go across. So you can see that I stop at, the two lines meet at the point that is J. Let me know if there are questions, or if you don't really understand, and then I'll repeat them. And then number 5, 2 and -3. 2 and -3. So I start with 2, and because x is positive, y is negative, I'm going to start on the positive side of x, which is 2, and then I'm going to draw a line all the way down, and then from -3, I'm going to draw a line all across. So you can see I end at T. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick one that a type we haven't done yet, which is number 10. We have -4 and -3. So you have your x here, you have your y. So that means my x is negative, so I'm going to be looking on the left hand side of 0. My y is negative also, so I'm going to look below the line. So I have -4 all the way, and then -3 all the way. So I have L. So what I want you to do is, I want you to try number 6 and number 9, and then we can move on to the next topic. I think once you try that, you'll get a good idea of what's happening. So for number 6, what's the answer going to be? Number 6, give it a try, just so I have an understanding. I know that you understand what we've done so far. Okay, so I see number 6. Someone is saying it's M, so we'll check that. Okay, Motoma, thank you. Jaden, what is number 6? Okay, so let's go ahead and try number 6. Number 6, we have the 0.31, so I'm going to put an X right here and a Y here. So we have 3 going up 1, so I have 3, and then let's go to 1 and draw a line across. So you can see that they both meet at the point M. And then for number 9, we're looking at -3 and 3. So we have X here, we have Y. So our -3 is going to be on the left hand side, and then we're going up 3 units. So we go -3, see that, up all the way up, and then we have 3. So you can see that that is going to give you the point Y, where those two lines meet. So this is really the trick. I want you to go ahead. I have some videos on this as well, so feel free to check our channel, subscribe, and then you'll see some of these topics as well. And I want you to go ahead and try lots of examples. Once you understand this, it's going to be golden for you. So just try a lot of examples and then you'll be fine. So just look at the method that we've used here. Use that for so many examples. After a while, you won't need to draw all these lines anymore. You'll already know exactly what to do. All right, let's go ahead to the next one. So we're looking at loan repayment here. So a bank approves a loan with the following terms: $3,000 for 3 years at 4% interest, and it's a simple interest. If the customer intends to pay off the loan in 15 months, how much will the monthly payment be? So we got someone trying to get a loan for $3,000, would like the loan for 3 years and 4% interest, but the person doesn't really want to be in debt for too long, so they want to pay off the loan in 15 months. For this to happen, how much will the person have to pay every month? I'll wait for a few moments and then we'll go ahead and get started with solving this one together. I didn't see her answer. Simi, did you understand what we did in the last question? I just want to be sure. I'm sure that's the topic that is relevant to you. So did you understand it? Do you feel like you have a good grasp, or at least someplace to start from? If you don't, let me know, and then we'll try to find some other examples that we can walk through. Maybe when we're done with other topics, I can add a few more that we can walk through for you. Okay, I'm not getting any responses. Okay, I see. So you understand it a little, and I can find some other examples that I can probably, if we finish everything, if we have some time after we finish everything, I'll try to revisit some of them for you. Okay. All right. I think Shewanu. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead with this question. I don't see a response on this yet. So let's go. I'll show you what to do here. What you want to do first is find out what the interest is going to be on this loan. So your interest is going to be your principal multiplied by your rate multiplied by your time. Your principal is going to be the amount you borrowed, which is $3,000. Your rate is going to be 4%, so I'm going to just say 4 over 100. And then your time is going to be 3 years, which is going to be multiplied by 3. So one of the ways that I like to, when I'm dealing with zeros, I just like to cancel above and below. So now I have 30 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 3. And so because I have a 0 at the end, I'm just going to ignore it first and then just multiply the non-zero numbers. So 3 multiplied by 4, we have 12. Multiplied by 3, we have 36. And then I'm going to add the 0 to the end. So the interest in this case is going to be $360. So the total amount that this customer is going to owe is going to be $3,000 plus 360. I'm going to put a 0 here. And so we have 0, 6, 3, and then 3,360. So this tells me that the customer is going to owe $3,360 based on the terms of this loan. And now the customer wants to pay it off in 15 months. How much will the monthly payment be? So what we're going to now do is we're going to divide 3,360 by 15. Okay, so 33 divided by 15, we have 2. What I like to do, which you probably will hear quite a few times, is I like to try to solve it on my own, and then I can use a calculator to double check that I did it the right way. But don't run to the calculator once you see a math problem. Try to see what you can do on your own and use the calculator to just cross-check. So 2 multiplied by 15, we have 30. We subtract, we're left with 3. Let's bring down 6. 15 multiplied by, how many groups of 15 in 36? We're going to have 2. 2 multiplied by 15, we have 30. And then we subtract, we're left with 6. And then we bring down the 0. How many groups of 15 in 60? We have 4. 4 multiplied by 15, we have 60. So therefore, this customer is going to have to pay $224 every month for 15 months to pay off the loan. All right, any questions on this before we proceed? Any questions on this before we move to the next question? All right, let's go ahead to, this is also another type of question that was sent to us. So we're looking at, we have a number line that we're trying to fill out the fractions. We want to fill out the boxes with the fractions that should belong there. Your answer should be in fractions. Okay, so what we're going to do here, and I know that this was a question that the viewer had. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to show you the best way to go about this. And between 1 and 2, always remember you have just 1 unit between 1 and 2. So I'm going to draw a circle for each of these units. So I have 1 unit from here to here. I have another 1 unit from here to here, and another 1 unit from 3 to 4. So let's go ahead and draw 3 circles. I'm going to do another one right here, and then I'm going to do one more right here. So the question you want to ask yourself is, how can you figure out what the value of what's in the missing box? So what you're going to do is you're going to count how many spaces. I have 1 space here, 2, 3, 4. So that means I am going to have 4 units in 1. So that's going to be a quarter. So you're going to slice 1 item into 4 different units. So you have 1/4 here, 1/4 here, 1/4 here, 1/4 here. So now that we have 1/4, so let's count how many spaces till we get to our box. We have 1 space, 2 spaces. So our denominator is going to be 4, and then we have 2. And then don't forget that you also have 1 coming along with you. So it's going to be 1 whole number, 2/4, because you're going from 1 all the way to 2. So don't forget your whole number, because every fraction here is going to have 1 as its whole number. Let's go ahead to the next one. We have how many spaces? Let me use a different color. We have 1 space, 2 spaces, 3 spaces. So I'm going to slice this into 3. So 1, 2, okay, we slice into 3. So because we have 3 spaces here, we're going to have 1/3 here, 1/3 here, and then 1/3. So now let's count how many spaces after 2 till we get to our box, our square. We have 1, 2. So it's going to be 2 spaces out of 3, and then our lower number here, our whole number, is going to be 2. So you have to pay attention to the whole number, because you can't ignore the whole number when you're dealing with fractions. So now we look at the last set here. I'm going to use a different color again. So we have 1 space, 2 spaces, 3 spaces, 4 spaces, and then 5 spaces. So that means we're going to have, let's see, 1. Also, we have 5 spaces here. So each of these spaces is going to be 1/5, 1/5. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to find out how many spaces between 3 and the box, or the square. So we have 1, 2. So it's going to be 2 out of 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 2 out of 5 spaces. And the whole number we're starting off with is 3. So that's really how you would go about a problem like this. You always want to count the spaces. So the spaces actually tells you what your denominator is going to be. And then when you count the spaces till the box you're getting to, that helps you get to your numerator. So that's really how you would do a problem like this. Any question? 2 2/3. Okay, great work, great work. If you need any further help on this, we have videos. Every topic we have today, there are videos that would help you with that. And if there's a topic here that I know that you have problems with, I will go ahead and make a video if there is none available at the moment. All right, so let's go ahead to the next question. We have the slope. Find the slope of the line that joins points 4, -3 and 5, -2. We're looking for the slope of a line that joins 2 points. In this case, we're given the coordinates of the points. And for the 5th graders, this is another example for you to see that whatever you're learning right now in your 5th grade with coordinates, this is 6th grade. And believe me, as long as you're doing math, you will need to understand coordinates. So let's go ahead and see if anyone wants to try this out. So your slope, I'm going to give you some hints here. Your slope is represented with the letter M, and it's always equal to rise over run. And I want to show you what that means. It's rise over run, which is also the same as the change in y, y2 minus y1, the change in the y coordinates divided by the change in the x coordinates. You can also do it this way, y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. So that's how you would deal with slope. Whenever you're given 2 points, you need to be able to understand that this is what rise over run means, because if you have a line, let's say you have 2 points right here, so your rise is this and then your run is that. So you can see that from here to here you're changing, you have a change in your y coordinate, And from here to here, you have a change in your x coordinate. So I see -1/9. All right, let's see. Thank you, Motoma, for your response. So what I'm going to do here is, as a good practice, I want you to label all the points. So I have x1, I have y1, I have x2, I have y2. So now I'm going to substitute all of these values into my equation. So our slope here, your rises, I always like to start with the equation. It's just a good practice. Y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Y2 is -2. Y1 is, so it's minus y1, all right, divided by x2 is -5. X1 is minus, so it's 4. So now we have -2. When you have a negative outside and a negative inside, you change it to a plus. Plus 3 divided by -5 minus -4. When you have the same sign, you add the numbers and you keep the sign. So this is going to give us, here when you have opposite signs, you subtract and keep the sign of the bigger number. So 3 minus 2 is 1. The bigger number has a positive, and then this is -9. And then in division of positive and negative numbers, whenever the signs are different, your sign is going to be -1/9. So great work, Motoma. Thank you. Great work, great work. All right, so let's go ahead and go to the next one. If there are any questions, if this was your question, I hope I showed you the right way that helps you understand it. If not, let me know, and we'll try it. When we have our session next week, I'll bring it up again. And for me, with math, it's all about practicing as many times as you can. So if there are questions that you didn't get today and you want me to focus on them next week, send us a note, and then we'll be sure to do that for you. All right, let's go to the next one. Write the following numbers in scientific notation. Write the following numbers in scientific notation. We have 245.8 and 0.000547. So these are the two numbers we're writing in scientific notation. We're writing these numbers in scientific notation. And I want to see how you go about this, and I'll show you some of the methods that I like to use. Before you do anything, one thing I want you to remember is that your scientific notation is going to look like this: a multiplied by 10 raised to power n. And here your a value is any number that is greater than or equal to 1 and less than 10. That's what, and your n is going to be an integer. So which means that it can be a positive whole number or a negative whole number. That's what an integer means. Okay, so let's see what we have. I'll wait for a few seconds and see if anyone has an answer to this, and then we'll go ahead and solve it together. Okay, so we have 245.8. So what we want to always do is find a way we need to write it in this form right here, which I showed you here, which is a multiplied by 10 to the power of n. So what do I need to do? Where do I need to move the decimal so that the number before the decimal is the number that I have with the decimal is less than 10 but greater than 1. The best way to put it is you will always want to make sure that you have your decimal so that the number to the left and to the right of the decimal are non-zero numbers. At least the number to the left of the decimal should be non-zero, that's for sure. Sometimes you may have a 0 after the decimal, but to the left of your decimal, you must have a non-zero number. A non-zero number is a number that is not 0. That's simply all we mean. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the decimal to this point. I'm going to move the decimal right here. And so this is where the decimal needs to be, 2.45 times 10. Remember, we have a times 10 to the power of n. Now we're trying to find out what our n should be. So what you want to ask yourself is, if the decimal should be at 2.45, actually I need to not ignore the 8, it's important. I need to make sure I have the 8 there as well, 2.458. And if that's where the decimal should be, but the decimal we're given is in this location, we need to ask ourselves, what do we need to do to move the decimal from this position that it should be to the position that we found it? So that is going to be, we're going to move it 1 unit, 2 units, okay? And we're moving it 2 units to the right. So that means, just think of your number line. Whenever you see a lot of these things in math, think of your number line. You have a 0. Whenever you go to the right, you're going positive. Whenever you're going to the left, you're going negative. So in this case, we have 2.458, and we have to move 2 units to the right to get to 245.8. That's simply all you do, and this is going to be your number, the same number in scientific notation. Now let's go ahead and try the second one. The same method applies. We're going to look for we're going to come up with the A, and remember I said you have to get to the point where you have your the number to the left of your decimal has to be non-zero. So in this case, the first time that happens is right here. So we have 5.47 times 10, and we need to find out what n is going to be. Now look at what, we have a different situation here because the number we're given, the decimal is way to the left. So we're going to find out how do we get the decimal from between 5 and 4 to this position that we found it. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to go 4 units to the left. We're going to the left 4 units. I remember what I showed you earlier. Whenever you go to the left, you're negative. So it's going to be -4. So this is how you would try to write a number from a standard notation to scientific notation. Like I said earlier, if this is a topic that you're struggling with, next week we'll get through some more questions on this. But I wanted to make sure I address the 2 different scenarios that you will deal with whenever you're trying to write numbers in scientific notation. All right, we've got time. Let's try to do one more. Okay, we're looking at a histogram here, and we want to use this histogram to answer a few questions. So this is on data sampling. I think this is 7th grade. We're looking at a histogram. One of the interesting things about a histogram is that all the bars are they're joined together. So which age group has the maximum number of people? Which age group has the maximum number of people? All you have to do is look at the different age groups. Actually, let me give you a chance to try this. 7th graders, if you're in 7th grade and this is a topic that is of interest to you, or even if you're not and you think you want to give it a try, feel free and we'll go through it together. I'll give you probably about 30 to 45 seconds to go through this, and then we will do it together. Oh, good job. Thank you, Motoma, for always responding and always participating. It makes it entertaining for me. It makes it interesting because I just like to see how people think about math problems. So it's always good for me. All right, so let's go ahead and finish up this distribution, the frequency distribution here. Which age group has the maximum number of people? All you have to do is look at all the bars and look at the tallest bar. So this is our tallest bar right here. What is the age group? 21 to 30. Okay, which age group has the minimum number of people? We're going to look for the shortest bar. This is our shortest bar right here. The age group is 1 through 10. So this type of questions are just really about interpreting what you see on a graph, or it could be a pie chart, it could be a histogram, it could be a bar chart, it could be a line graph. Lots of different ways to present information to you, and here you're just trying to figure out how to interpret it. What is the frequency in the age group 11 to 20? So now we're done with just looking at the height. Now we need to put a value to that height. So we're looking at the age group 11 to 20, which is this age group right here. This is the height. Now we're going to trace it to the number of people, which is going to tell you your frequency. And we trace it down to 25. And so we have 25 as our frequency. How many people are there in the age group 0 to 20? So let's look at our graph here. We have 0 to 20 includes 1 to 10 and 11 through 20. So 1 to 10 we have 15, and then 11 through 20 we have 25. So in that case you're going to add 15 and 25. So we're going to add these numbers together. We have 10 here, bring 1 here, we add this up, we have 40. So we have 40 people in the age group 0 to 20. How many people are older than 30? How many people are older than 30? All right, Anastasia, great work, great work. How many people are older than 30? Okay, let's pay attention to this bar right here, because everyone in this bar is going to be older than 30. So let's trace it all the way down here. We actually have 25. So we have 25 people older than 30. Great work, everyone. Great work, great work. I've really had a good time. Sorry again for all the technical difficulties that happened that were unforeseen at the beginning of the session. And just because I have a habit of making sure we have a puzzle, at least 2 puzzles, what I'm going to do is we're going to do 1 today, just for, I don't want to take all of your time. So I'm just going to do 1 puzzle, and then we'll call it a day and a week for the 2nd to 7th grader. So let me pull up the puzzle that I think we're going to enjoy. So here we have a sequence here, and I want us to find out what the missing number in this sequence is. What is the missing number here? Let's give you a few more moments. This one I try to make it pretty simple so that you guys can feel happy. I know in math when you feel happy when you're doing well, so I wanted something that you all can have fun with. Nothing too crazy, nothing too difficult. All right, let's see who's gonna give us an answer. I'll give you a few more moments to think about it, and then we'll go ahead and show you what the answer should be. All right, let me give you some hints so that I'll give you a pathway to get there. So 29 to 28, we're subtracting 1. 28 to 26, we're subtracting 2. 26, oh, sorry, it's 23 here. Sorry about that. 26 to 23, we're subtracting 3. That was a typo. Sorry about that. And then this is supposed to be it's supposed to be 19, and yeah, it's bad. I had so many typos on this. So this is supposed to be 19, and then this is supposed to be 8. So it was my fault. That was a typo. It's my fault. So here we're subtracting 4. Yeah, should. And then here we're going to subtract 5, and then here we're going to subtract 6. That's all there was to this puzzle. So it was my fault. Sorry about that. We'll do better next time. Perfect, Jaden. Perfect. All right, thank you all for your time today. Again, I apologize for what happened earlier. It was technical. Thank you for waiting with us, for your patience. Thank you for joining, and I hope you have enjoyed the rest of your week. We're going to have another session on Thursday. If you have any older siblings or friends that are in 8th to 12th grade, ask them to join us. Invite them to join us. We'll be happy to have them. And if you have any questions you'd like us to walk through during the session, here are the topics. Here is the way to reach us: our email, our website, and then a phone number that you can reach us. And we look forward to another opportunity to hang out with you next week. Enjoy the rest of your week and be blessed. And thank you once again for your support. Bye and have a wonderful day.